Can I start now?
Yes, yes, you can start, Mark. Yeah, you
Okay.
can share your screen as well.
Good evening, everyone. It's a
Good evening,
pleasure.
ma'am.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here this day. Um, well, you've said a lot about me. All I can just say is that I'm grateful for the opportunity given to me to come talk to you about opportunities outside there. Um, well, I think we just go on. I earlier on I sent the slides, but I don't know if it's okay. I mean, I'm trying to share the screen. I don't know if it's okay.
Okay, yes, you can share the screen, Mark. We received the slide, but it would be better if you share the screen so you can move at your own pace, Mark.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can see it, but you can probably put it in slideshow. Uh,
I'm going to do that.
okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, it's clear.
Organization of Veterinary Services in Nigeria. Well, what I've done briefly is to look at different areas that a vet could work in Nigeria and try to highlight it within the little time I have. So, yeah, this is what we are doing. Well, Dipeolu is my name, Prof. Morenike Dipeolu, from the Department of Veterinary Public Health and Preventive Medicine, our own Federal University of Agriculture, Dipeolu. Yeah, Professor of Veterinary Public Health. Now, veterinary services in Nigeria started in the year 1914, and the organizational structure is based mainly on the private sector and the public sector. Now, the private sector involves setup of practice by veterinarians for the purpose of conducting business within the confines of the veterinary profession. It is within this content that we're talking about. So if you're out there selling cement and what have you, it's not part of this organizational structure. It's strictly within the confines of veterinary profession. Now, the public sector, the federal government and the state governments, it involves the federal government and the state governments employing the services of veterinarians. Okay, now veterinarians could also be employed by the local government councils. So you have the states, you have the local. Okay, it can be states, it can be local, then it can be federal. Now, let's go to private sector. Veterinarians can have his own practice, what they now call entrepreneurship, okay? Or work for others, in the livestock farm, or be employed by others. You can work for yourself, you can work for others, you can be employed by others. It can be livestock, it can be your clinical practice, okay? Small animal practice, large animal practice, what have you. Also, veterinarians can work at the feed mills, okay? They can be consultant to feed millers or be employed in the feed milling industry. Some try to have their own, but let us just go within that context of being a professional in that respect. So I personally don't like the ideas of veterinarians saying they have a feed mill, okay? Well, if it is a multinational, a multi-entrepreneur, like what we have with Animal Care Consult, why not? But if it is straight veterinarians, because of lack of job, going to have 1 or 2 rooms of feed milling, that is not what we're talking about here, okay? Now, veterinarians can also be employed in the pharmaceutical industry or market veterinary drugs. I'm going to go back to that private sector and I'm going to talk about, yes, I've talked about practice. You can have your own practice. And I'm very particular about having your own practice. And when it comes to your own practice, I'm very particular. Things must be done properly. What do I mean? Highest professional conduct and ethics, okay? If you want to have a clinic, you must do it according to the most professional practice. You will, for example, you will enter some clinics, veterinary clinics, and as you're going, you're wondering, will I come back alive? Because it looks like a shrine. No, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about full professionalism in practice. Okay, you can come together as a group, in which case there will be mutual trust. You can do locum, that is, you work for some people here and there at particular agreed time, or you can, yeah, 2 people to 3 people can come around to have a practice. And I tell you that the field is still very, very green in terms of veterinary practice in Nigeria, okay? Now, let me go to, before I digress, let me go to the public sector. In the public sector, the federal veterinary establishments and regulatory bodies will include the Department of Veterinary and Pest Control Services, formerly known as the Federal Livestock Department, okay? And also, we have the animal production here. We have animal production and husbandry services. Under that, like FLD before. But what concerns us mainly now is the Department of Veterinary and Pest Control Services. The headquarters of the department is at Abuja, and that is the #1 civil service that involves veterinarians in Nigeria, okay? Now, the Department of Veterinary and Pest Control Services has 5 units: the Quality Assurance and Standard Unit, Animal Health Unit, Pest Control Unit, Epidemiology Unit, Veterinary Public Health Unit. All these units will employ veterinarians. The services, especially, they coordinate veterinary services, especially those related to epidemiology and disease prevention in the country. Now, let me go back to the Veterinary and Pest Control Service. It has offices in each state of the country. There are offices of Veterinary and Pest Control Services in each state of the country. Okay?
Yes.
The
Should I?
Veterinary
Okay.
Research Institute. We also have, yeah?
Okay.
Can I go on?
Yes, ma, I can go on, ma.
Yeah, we also have the Research Institute. And these establishments, they conduct research into animal diseases with the primary view of disease prevention and control for the welfare of animals to safeguard the health of the consuming populace. Now, increased production of animals, livestock, and ultimately the general well-being of the consuming populace. Now we have we have them all over. We have the National Animal Production Research Center at ABU Shika Zavia. We have the National Veterinary Research Institute, VOM, Plateau State, our #1 vet research in Nigeria. Then we have the Nigerian Institute for Trypanosomosis Research, that is NITA. The head office is at Kaduna, but they have a center in VOM, inside NVRI in VOM. Okay, then now we have the veterinary schools. The veterinary schools, the primary aim of veterinary school in having them is to provide qualified manpower required by the veterinary profession, and also to do research into to do research in various areas of the veterinary profession. Now we have them all over. University of Maiduguri, we have them as either faculties of veterinary medicine or colleges of veterinary medicine. We have at the University of Maiduguri, they have a faculty of veterinary medicine. University of Ibadan has a faculty of veterinary medicine. Usmanu Danfodio University, Sokoto, has a veterinary medicine faculty. University of Agriculture, Makurdi has a College of Veterinary Medicine. Michael Okpara, University of Agriculture, Morenike, has a College of Veterinary Medicine. Federal University of Agriculture, Dipeolu, College of Veterinary Medicine. Then we have those new, and then Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Faculty of Veterinary Medicine. Now, we have newer ones in place. If I talk about Nsukka, there's University of Agriculture, there's, we have Faculty of Veterinary Medicine at University of, Nsukka, UNN, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Faculty of Veterinary Medicine. Also at ABU Zaria. Now we have newer ones coming up at Jos, Ilorin, and Abuja. Abuja is not that new anymore. Maybe will be Jos. Of course, Ilorin is also there, as those are faculties of veterinary medicine. Okay. Yeah, that is about federal establishments. Now we have vets working at the military base. Okay, we have vets working at military base, and you'll be asking, what do they need them for? We need them to take, they are involved mainly in keeping companion animals, especially dogs and horses at the military bases. Okay, NAFDAC is there. NAFDAC also has its own directorate now that employ vets. They are there at the airports, the seaport, and basically what they'll be doing at airports will be epidemiological work, looking at do we have people that have brought in animals that have not been well certified in terms of company certificates and what have you. Okay, so they are there at the airport. Now we go on to states. State establishments and related bodies. Veterinarians employed in this regard, at least the states, are referred to as veterinary officers. And they can be at the veterinary clinic, performing diagnoses, treatment, prevention of diseases in animals, and also issuing health certificates to animals that are being exported. Okay, and that will include the dogs, the starting birds, and what have you. There is a public health unit that is involved with inspection of animals, of food animals, prior to slaughtering and after slaughtering. That is a major work with the veterinary state veterinary establishment. The control posts are also there that inspects trade animals, that is animals that are being transported by land from one state to the other, to be sure that there is control of infectious diseases. Thank you. Do you have any questions? Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, Mar. Normally we should be the one saying thank you for taking your time. For taking your time. Yeah, okay, yeah. You should probably say thank you to us, but it's for our own good, so we should be the one saying thank you for making the presentation. And we're very glad it was so concise, and I believe we all understand. Personally, I understand there are more opportunities for me now than just the government stuff that all of us are putting our heads at. And thank you for exposing us to all these opportunities. So if you have a question for Mommy, you can just drop it in the chat box. Anna, you can adjust the settings so people can.
It's done.
Okay, thank you. So if you have a question, just send it in the chat box. I will read it out for Mommy. And as you can see, like I said it yesterday, we are gender sensitive at IVSA. The vet series start 4 sessions. We hosted 2 professor, two male professors and two female professors. Well, some of them are not professors, but let me just say professors because by achievements, they are all professors. So if you have questions for Professor Morenike, please drop it in the chat box. And I'll be glad to read it out. Okay, Frederick Tan, I guess he's not a Nigerian. So he said, what is the current biggest or most concerning threat in veterinary public health, and how can we address it?
The current biggest or most concerning
threat in veterinary public health, and how can we address it?
Wow, that's a big one. To me, what is very, very topical and germane is the abattoir system. It's something that bleeds my heart in terms of it being a challenge, because as you know, the vet has that authority that is like a monopoly to safeguard the health of the consuming populace. What do I mean by that? You have that right. You have that not just right. It is once you swear to oath at after graduation to vet council, you are saying that I take this as my lifelong commitment to safeguard the health of the consumer. So if you cannot work appropriately to do that, then there is a problem. You cannot categorically say, yes, today I'm going to bed. I have been able to remove all TB cases from the slaughter slab, because the system is not allowing you to do that. You cannot safely say there are no teniasis, there are no tenia, whatever, or cysticercosis, whatever, in the meat that is going out. You cannot say that the bacterial count on the meat is healthy enough for people to eat, that there is no residues of whatever contaminants, chemicals. So that is a big question. And it will happen because the system that we have in place today does not allow the proper investigation to be done. That is, there is no demarcation between the clean operation at the abattoir and the dirty operation at the abattoir. So it becomes a problem. And it will be addressed if we all believe that it's a problem. States like Lagos are looking at private partnership, like that. But it is something that needs to be looked into critically. And also, the number of veterinarians employed for this purpose, they're few, very few. And well, if the people are not there, then all hands cannot be on deck. I hope I've tried.
Yes, mommy. Yeah, you have answered the question. Food security is actually very, very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've answered the question. I think that is about the most concerning thing at the moment. And for those that used to attend webinars, online webinars so much, in this era of COVID-19, you see there are lots of questions and lots of webinars about food security in this COVID-19 season, because COVID-19 affected almost everything in life. And when people are hungry, that is when everything go wrong. Because if you're not alive, if you don't eat, you won't be alive. And if you're not alive, that's the end of the world, for you at least. So
so let me just
another question.
Let me cut in a little there before I go to the second one. I know in one you open journals and you see that in about food security, the food produced is not enough in sub-Saharan Africa, blah blah blah. But my take is this: even the little that we produce, is it fit for human consumption? These are issues. It's ethically not right for me to use my hand-earned money to buy microbes with meat. It is ethically not right for me to use my hard-earned money to buy tetracycline with meat. So this is the issue. It's not that it's not enough. It can be enough, but that small quantity that we have, is it going to do human being Is it going to give them good health? How safe are these? These are the issues. Okay?
Yes, okay. Thank you very much, Mar, for the clarification. So the next question Anna is asking, as a veterinarian, academic, or public health expert, so how do you stay up to date on new scientific and medical information?
It's a long life thing. So you always have to be on top of your game by attending conferences. You read journals, medical journals in that area that you have taken as your own area, and you always find the gap. What can I do to make it better? What can I do to make it better in the research world?
Okay, thank you so much, Mar. The next question says, how can we effectively reduce the chances of zoonotic diseases?
That is very broad. Very, very broad. Now, if you are going to ask yourself, what do you mean by zoonotic diseases? Primarily the diseases that are transmitted between animals and human beings, or vice versa. Now, it's so big, it's so wide. But you are going to ask yourself, tuberculosis. If you are not controlling tuberculosis in animals, you cannot eradicate tuberculosis in human beings. Just take us back to the abattoir. If you are not eradicating rabies in dogs, you cannot say you're going to eradicate rabies in animals. It goes back to what we do. So each one would depend on the epidemiology of such a disease, okay? And you then go on from there to see how you can do the zoonosis. But there is no one jacket fit all. It will have to be a case after the other. Things like ordinarily tapeworm can still cause a problem if the system is not right. And the basic system has to be, what do we do at the level of our abattoir? That is the gateway between what is produced for human beings and what human beings consume.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Ma, for that extensive answer. And the next question is, how can you target and treat a cycling disease?
Exactly. I'm not a clinician.
Yeah, and I think the cycling disease here is kind of a very wide term. Maybe the person can try to narrow down to maybe a specific disease if he wants, like if he wants us to understand the question. So the next question is, I usually see animal shelters in animal documentaries abroad. I want to ask if we have any here in Nigeria and how one could set up one successfully. The person is actually asking how we can set up animal shelters successfully.
That is a big one. You see, you have to look at in what context are we found ourselves in this country. Basically, what do we have? We still have the nomads. The nomads are still in control of about 80% of what goes on in terms of animal movement, in terms of the cow we eat and what have you, okay? So until people talk about ranches as being the solution, well, that is for that. But for animal welfare, okay, we are still not there. We are still not there in terms of us having shelters where you can put stray animals and this. It is just unfortunate that we went from, as a country, we went from grass to grass. And thank God that we are trying to move up from that grass, because many years ago when we were young, you cannot see animals roam on the street without being vaccinated. They will be apprehended and they will be destroyed. Some will say a step further that they put them in quarantine. It is from there that you can have shelters, and basically most that will also come as an NGO initiative. People that love animals will say, okay, let's give these animals foster homes and what have you as shelters. But we are still far away from there. You must have the basic in terms of everything before you can start thinking of that level of welfare. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very, very much, Mar. That was another perfect answer. The next question says, what are some of the toughest decisions that you made to get to where you are today?
Toughest decisions.
Yes, ma'am.
I will be frank with you.
Okay, we're listening, ma'am.
Somebody talk about me being a scientist and a politician. The toughest decision I've had to make was agreeing to be the president of veterinary medical NVMA, veterinary medical
Okay, Nigerian
association,
Veterinary Medical Association.
veterinary medical association some 4 or 5 years ago. That was a tough decision for me. I've had the opportunity to serve in this association one way or the other, but when people came up and said, yes, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, then you start thinking, do I have time for this? Do I really want to do this? But you see, you then have to balance it. They saw something in you before they said you could go. But then I took up the challenge. I didn't win because it was at a region that is mainly men dominated, but I came second. I felt fulfilled. So it was tough for me, but thank God that everything came out well eventually.
Okay, thank you very, very much, man. And the next one, I think it's a bit similar to the one you just answered. What advice can you give to the young veterinarians out there on how they can come about on choosing their career specialties? Like in this case, I would narrow the question down to public health. Like, what advice can you give that to young vets that want to
It's not just
become
public health.
become
What I
like you?
It's not just public health. What I tell my students is this, and that is quite frankly, you will look at your area of strength. You know that area along the whole gamut of veterinary medicine. That area that is easy for you to move it into it. It's like you're having a love affair and you are making money. It's going to be like that. But if you just think that well, everybody is becoming a clinician, let me also become a clinician, and you don't like clinics, then it's going to be hard for you. So you're going to ask yourself, where is that my strongest point? And you're going to ask God to help you. Because you must make money. It's not easy to train a veterinarian, and the money is out there. So and you must enjoy yourself making the money. That is my philosophy in life. So you look at that area of strength. Don't look at what other people are looking at. So when you now identify that area of strength, you go out to develop yourself, to retrain yourself in that area of strength to build up your career.
Okay, thank you very much, Mar. Someone is asking about money. Yeah, please, Mar. Is there? Okay, let me see. I missed a couple of questions. Okay, Pablo Franco from Mazatlan Aquarium, that's in Mexico. He said, "Oh yeah, he just thanked you for the lecture. He enjoyed
Pablo, thank you.
it." Then the other guy said, "Please, Mar, is there window in commercial institute like CBN for zero interest loan that offers veterinarian to build veterinary?" In short, he's asking if there are
Of course
loan
there are. Of
facilities.
course there are. So all you need to
Okay.
do, of course there are plenty. All you need to do is just go to the website. You don't need to know anybody. Just go to the website, go down, look everywhere, then ask questions for people that will know. But definitely there are.
Okay. Thank you very, very much, Mar. So the next question came from Comfort, and he or she is asking what we can do about antimicrobial resistance in humans and animals.
It's a topical issue all over the world. People are abusing antibiotics every day, and we are getting the consequences of it. The basic thing about antibiotic resistance is don't mishandle antimicrobial. Don't use it when you don't have to use it. And if you if And because when you get to that level of resistance, then there's a problem. Okay, there is a problem. So it's a big issue, and it has to be addressed holistically in terms of who are the people handling this antibiotic and anti-malaria, antimicrobial. How are regulations being put in place? And how are regulations being put in place? What education do we have? Are we giving people in terms of the social whatever? I believe that there should be jingles and what have you. Don't touch antimicrobial when you don't need them. In fact, it's what I can call their particular drugs in their own particular way that must be hallowed. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mar. I'm loving it today. We are getting a lot of questions and lots of answers. So I'm already missing the CDs because today is the last day. So the next question says, what is the veterinary profession related as a last resort on health issues in our African countries? I think this is a very general question.
I don't know what you mean by last resort, but there has been concerted efforts towards one health policy through, AU, IBA, and what have you. So it is no more a case of veterinarians are there and we are feeling sad because we are veterinarians. We are feeling unhappy because we are inferior. No, it is not like that anymore. It's a case of, yes, I have read vet medicine. I'm going to be an equal partner to the human medics because they cannot do it alone. So that is the issue of One Health, and we are gradually moving towards the peak. It's not like that. It's not the last resort anymore. It is more of an equal partner in getting serious, in tackling serious health related issues in animals and men.
Okay, thank you very much, Mar. So at this point,